It's your boy Amreezy, and I'm back with another Road to Sorare Boss episode. In this series, I go from Sorare Beginner to hopefully Sorare Boss. Now, I'm loving Sorare. I've been playing for Sorare for a few months. If this is your first time watching these videos, I am documenting my journey. I've been playing for a few months now, and I'm fully hooked, fully into the world of Sorare. I do see the pros. I do see the managers with their massive lineups, all these rare cards, super rare cards. We'll get there. We'll get there. So the small achievement this week was that I got to play 2 game weeks since my last video, which was last week. Usually, you know, some of my earlier videos, I was only able to have 1 game week sort of at the weekend usually, and I couldn't do anything midweek. This week was different. I got to have a midweek game and I got to have some games at the weekend. So I'll show you the 2 sets of game weeks that have happened since my last video, and I'll preview my squad for the coming game week. So let's start by taking a look at how I've been doing since my last video. So these are the squads that I put out last weekend, which was game week 445. I did, now as we always do here, cap 240, that's our priority. We want to hit the threshold. We've hit it once in that glorious week about 2 weeks ago. We hit the threshold once, and we're going to keep continuing to focus on the cap 240, which is what we did last weekend. And then we throw together what we can. So we threw together a cap 220, which did okay. I mean, you know, 240 points is okay, especially considering we didn't expect much from these players. So, you know, none of them really shone. Obviously, the best player was our goalkeeper, actually, but our best limited card was our best limited card, which is Beste in Germany. He did okay, 57. For him, that's, you know, okay. So nothing to get too excited about. With the cap 240, we were so close to another threshold. And I said on the last video, I was uncertain about whether I should captain Mari or my new striker, Mesa Bar. I went for the striker. I went for the new guy. I wanted to just throw everything into him. Lesson learned. Don't always do that. Maybe I should have gone for Mari. He did get my highest score out of all my defenders. And that's now his 2nd week in a row where he's put a really good score. So Pablo Mari, well on my radar now. I did put him in the team this week. That was the first step. Possibly going to captain him going forward because he's a really involved defender. He likes to get involved in them. He's always making blocks, but he's got a pass on him. He likes a forward pass because I've seen a few Monza games now because I've got him. And they sort of play 3 at the back, and he likes to roam. He likes to go for a roam. He likes a pass in the final third, so he's good for points. So that's how I did the weekend before cap 240. I came close, but not quite at the threshold. Then it was a midweek game when the Premier League had some fixtures. Now, you know your boy's got Premier League cards. So I threw together a Premier League specialist, which didn't do that great, 219 points, and a cap 220. Excitingly, Andy Robertson came back from injury. Andy Robertson is now a card that I bought when I first bought my set of Sorare cards. Andy Robertson was one of those cards that I bought because I thought, let me try and be clever. Let me pick players who are injured, who are low in value, that when they come back from injury, they're going to smash it. Andy Robertson's one. He's back from injury. That's good news. Dominic Calvert-Lewin with a 69 score. That for a while, Calvert-Lewin has not given me anything near a 60. So that Calvert-Lewin's getting a few decent scores, or at least 1 decent score. That's positive for me. And Mangala played for Nottingham Forest. Now, Nottingham Forest have been a bit funny. When the new manager took over a few weeks ago, I had 3 Nottingham Forest cards. Mangala, Awoniyi, the striker, and Toffolo, the defender. The new Awoniyi got injured. The striker got injured. He's another one who's come back. I played him in the 220. Look, Awoniyi came back and scored on his return. So very excited to have Awoniyi now, because when I had him before he got injured, he was scoring a lot. Forest looking exciting. Then they stopped getting exciting. He got injured. Manager got sacked. Now they've got a new manager. Hopefully can find a bit of form again. Awoniyi is back. Mangala was back in the team. And I think Toffolo was also back in the team. So the 3 Nottingham Forest cards I had, which 2 weeks ago I was thinking all 3 of these I'm doom and gloom about, are all of a sudden looking good again. So patience has paid off with the Nottingham Forest cards. I'm hoping they finish the season strong and those 3 cards are involved. Badiashile played for Chelsea. I don't want to talk about Chelsea. Listen, as a Chelsea fan, it's not fun at the moment. So it doesn't help. I've got a lot of Chelsea cards and I'm supposed to be targeting Premier League specialists. So Barishile didn't do well. In the Cap 220, I kind of threw this together really like as a bit of a hit and hope. Toffolo I threw in case he played. He did. That's good news for the future. Longstaff's kind of, you know, now and again he does get a good score. Didn't expect too much from him. And James I just put in to get his XP and his bonus points up. And then I did throw a Cap 240 league, but that came nowhere near the 280 threshold this week. The goalkeeper, if you remember last week's video, I announced that I have signed my second goalkeeper card, a DNP goalkeeper who's 35p, just so that I can play more squads and build up my bonus XP points. So I threw him in there just to let these other 4 guys get bonus XP points and maybe get some scores. They didn't really do much. And then there was an academy team. So because I've got 2 goalkeepers now, for the first time, I'm entering teams into the academy team, which, for those of you that don't know, that they don't score points, but you just put them in there to get bonuses and keep the bonuses going. So Mari kept Mari's bonus points going. I chose my best card, best there again, try and get his bonuses going. And I put my 2 strikers who are both playing in second division European leagues that I do quite like because they score quite well. So, you know, the midweek was more about building bonus and XP for me. And I had a sort of slim shot at 240 and I had a slim shot at Premier League Specialist. It's mainly the week before where I came close to the threshold that's exciting. So that's how I've been doing since my last video. Let's now take a look at my thinking, my lineups for this coming game week. Game week 447, here we go. These are my lineups that I'm kind of thinking, fairly certain I'm going to go for these for the weekend coming up, game week 447. I'm in a dizzy place. I think this is the first time on this series where I've been able to show 4 lineups that I'm preparing. Now, Sorare pros might be watching thinking, 4 lineups, easy peasy, do that in my sleep. But for me, that's a big deal. 4 lineups where, you know, one of them I'm not quite going for as seriously, but it's still 4 lineups. That's 4 lots of XP I'm building, bonus XP I'm building up for my cards. So I'm excited that it's the first time I think I'm putting out 4 lineups in one of these videos. So that's very exciting for me. The priority Cap 240, and I'm feeling good about my Cap 240 this week. Let's take a little look at why. So I've got my goalkeeper. Bilal scores, their ups and downs. He didn't do so great in the last game, a 40 and a 21, but he's got a 60. His form is still not matching what he was giving me here, where he was giving big numbers, big scores. His form has come down. However, what that means is his L15 is now lower. So I'm trying to look at the positives. I can't take him out. He's my only goalkeeper. I've got a DMP goalkeeper now, but he's still good for an occasional good score. So I'm hoping he resumes his good form sooner or later. If not, his L15 is quite low. So he comes in with an L15 of 45. I think that's the lowest I've seen it for a while. And he's got an okay game. An okay game. With them, you never really know. Their form's not great, so it doesn't really matter who they're playing. He gave a good score against, I think, Galatasaray one week, and then he was playing someone towards the bottom of the table and did bad. So I've given up trying to hope on Bilal. I'm just going to see what happens. In defense, I've got a few good defensive options this week. And some of them are in my other team, so they're not appearing here. But the one I'm thinking of going for my main league, Cap 240, is John Lucimi at Bologna, because they're playing Sassuolo at home. Sassuolo are, I think, 3rd or 4th from the bottom of the table, not in good form. Lucimi has been putting good numbers lately. He has put an 81, a 62. Didn't do so great in the last game, but that was AC Milan away. So, you know, understandable that he didn't do so great there. The other contender for this spot is Pablo Mari, who I mentioned earlier in my video. The reason I'm not putting him in this team is because his L15 is a little bit higher now. And I'm going to use him in the other league. I'm going to put him in, I think, my Cap 220. So Lucimi's got a slightly better fixture than Mari as well, and a lower L15. So he's the one I'm going to go for. I'd like to fit in Quarta in one of my teams, but I just can't fit him in. Ravic is still not back from injury. Montez has a hard game. So Union SG are one of my sort of teams that I like to target. I've got, I think, 2 or 3 of their players, but they've got a tricky game away to Genk this week, so I'm not going to go for him. So it's going to be Lucimi in defense. In midfield, Paulinho, who is Mr. Solid, and he's playing Burnley. It is an away game, but it's Burnley, who are terrible. So I'm going to captain Paulinho. He's good for some points. You know, 40 is his lowest score that he's given in a while. He's given a few 60s. He had a 79 against West Ham here, 100 against Brighton. I'd like a big performance from Paulinho. Even if he gives me a 60, though, against Burnley, you know, I'm expecting something from him. The other options are Rashika at Besiktas, but again, they're another one with a tricky fixture, and he has gone a little bit off the boil lately. He gave me a couple of good scores here, but then he's had 3 weeks now where he's had like average scores, so we're going to leave him out. Norgard playing Man City, no chance. There's another Union SG player, Lapusin. Genk away, I don't trust it. Keelty, you know, we're starting to get towards the bottom of the barrel here, so I'm going to be leaving these players out. We're going to be going for Paulinho, we're going to be captaining him, and we're going to be starting with Awoniyi. Now, I'm hoping he starts because he's back from injury. If he doesn't start, it's a bit of a risk, but his L15 is nice and low, that if he doesn't start, he could come off the bench and score like he did last weekend. And it's a nice fixture, Bournemouth. It is away, but Bournemouth is quite a nice fixture for Forest, so I'm going to be going with Awoniyi, and I'm going to be going for my relatively new striker, Mesa Bar, who's got a home game against Caen. So I think I looked at the league table before that, and they are quite close, those two in the table, but let's see what happens. I'm feeling relatively confident about my 240 this week. I can see all of my players hitting 60 points, which wouldn't make me hit my threshold. So let's see. Let's see who lets me down on this lineup. That's my 240. And then I'm thinking, okay, what have I got left to play with? So the next one I'm taking seriously is the 220. So I did okay in the 220 last week. And remember, this month, Sorare have a 220 competition where they take your best 4 scores over 8 weeks. So I did okay last week. I think this team has the potential to do okay as well. My goalkeeper, I could get to play a limited goalkeeper now. It's, again, the same reason I got Lucchini in the other team. I'm putting in the Bologna goalkeeper because they've got a nice home game against Sassuolo. He'll be going in. Pablo Mari is in this team with his slightly higher L15, but I'm slightly less sure about him because it's an away game, but it is Udinese, who aren't great. Udinese aren't having a good season. So, on the back of 2 really good scores for Mari, I'm going to put him in this team and I'm going to captain him. The rest are a little bit punty. It is a 220, so I have to have a low L15 score. So Longstaff, listen, Longstaff is never very exciting. If we look at his past scores, 28, 27, 69, and then low again. So I'm just hoping he has another one of these 69 scores. And they are playing Luton at home. So again, that's another reason why I'm going for Longstaff, not Keelty. Don't even try and sneak in the team, Keelty. I saw that. Don't even, there you go, Longstaff. So they're playing Luton at home. It's worth a shot for the 220. Up front, Silla. He's got an away game in a slightly tricky fixture, so not overly optimistic there. And Calvert-Lewin, I never know what I'm going to expect with Calvert-Lewin. So my thinking is, you know, he's got a very low L15 score for a reason. He's not been that exciting lately, but they're playing Tottenham at home. And Tottenham concede goals for fun. I saw the last Tottenham game against Brentford, and their defense was just all over the place. In midfield, by the way, Tottenham have like Maddison, Werner, Kulusevski, just everybody bombing forward, creating. It's very fun to watch Tottenham, but they're going to concede goals. Even their wingbacks, Pedro Porro and Udogi, bombing forward all the time. They're just so exposed at the back. It's good, though, I think, if you're targeting them. So that's what I'm doing with Calvert-Lewin. And I think Pablo Mari is going to be captain because he's been good lately. He's got a good game. We're going to give it to him. And I feel less sure about the strikers, so it's going to be Pablo Mari as my 220 captain. And then Premier League specialist. I'm not overly confident about this lineup. It is a bit punty, but I mean, on paper, it could come off. Because you've got Pickford in goal, who again, playing Tottenham, he'll be involved. Even if he doesn't keep a clean sheet, he gets a lot of points from just making saves and lots of saves. So maybe he does something good. I'm using all my Chelsea cards, as you can, not all of them, but I'm using a lot of my Chelsea cards in this team. Barry Chile, Chelsea have Wolves at home. Wolves are currently playing Manchester United as I'm recording this video. I watched the first half of that game, and they don't look that good. Chelsea don't look that good either, so who knows what's going to happen, but throwing in Barry Chile just in case Chelsea keep a clean sheet, and Wolves are the worst of the 2 bad teams, you know. For the same reason, I'm captaining Sterling, because again, with Sterling, you never really know. Didn't do so great against Liverpool. Maybe he does well against Wolves. Maybe he doesn't even play against Wolves. I don't know. So who knows? Let's not talk about Chelsea. It's not good to talk about Chelsea. Kovacic, because Pep Roulette, possibly. They're playing Brentford. Man City have just played a game a few days ago. They've got a game shortly after that. Maybe Pep Roulette takes into Kovacic, gives him a game. He's in there. So this is a bit of a punt, this team. Sterling and then Mangala. Again, with the same reasons why I picked Awoniyi in the other team. They've got a good fixture. He has been back in the team lately. Hopefully he can get back to when he was getting me some good scores. So Premier League Specialist is a little bit of a punt this week. It could just be a case of building bonus points for these cards. And then the most punty team is the Cap 270, which is basically an Academy team lineup this week. I was going to... It was either this or the Academy. I don't think I can put another team out. So I thought I might as well enter this because I could get like 50 coins at least. So DMP goalkeeper. Reece James is injured. We're just building up his XP. Andy Robertson is back from injury. He came off the bench against Chelsea at the weekend. Let's see if he gets some more minutes. Again, putting him in this mainly because I want to build his XP points up now so that when he is back in the team, he's got a decent L15 score for me. Because at the moment, it's only 3.5. So I want to keep building that up. And then I just thought I'll put in my other best card, put him in there, captain him, get him some points. And Sandro Ramirez, who's got Real Madrid. No, he's not got Real Madrid. He's got Granada. So not expecting much from Sandro Ramirez. But he's good when they have a worse fixture. So build his bonus points. I've got his bonus up to 8 points now. It's 8% Sandro Ramirez. So that's a tidy little bonus. So those are my teams for Game Week 447. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking, who I'm making mistakes with, who I'm going good with. If there's any swaps with my 4 lineups this week, there could be a case where I've got the wrong player in the wrong lineup and I really want to target the 240. That's my priority. So if one of my 240 players should be swapped with one of my other 240 players, let me know. Follow me on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. Good luck with your Game Week 447s and I'll see you next week. Peace.